Hi, mate. How you doing? Hey. Oh, the testing 1-2 quarterfinal. Lovely. Testing 1-2 quarterfinal. Testing 1-2 night cup quarterfinal. Spring Hills Football Club at Spring Hill Recreational Reserve on this overcast Tuesday foggy evening where you can see your breath. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll leave that one there. All right. Hopefully she rocks up. Like the co-commentator, I don't know, or my partner, I don't know where she is. It's been the last night. I'm excited for tonight. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, please. So I usually have one more. I don't know where it is. Skalovsky. Where's Hahn, man? Skalovsky. Montana Matthews. Shalisa Paz. Alexandra Sinclair. Case Materi. Dennis Stevens. Yukina. Tamamura. Eri Yamashita. Dakota Thyssen. Maybe Tanaka. Ellie Talevsky. Molly Mae Ramsey. Jamila Rankin. Mira. Nishimura. Ali Lamonte. Hayley Johnson. Georgia Henderson. Jade Vegas. Alright. Bizarre. Yo. Alright, let's go live, huh? Good evening and welcome to Springside Recreation Reserve for the Night Cup quarterfinals, where Spring Hills FC host the Preston Lions. Coming to the business end of the tournament, with Bandura and the Bulleen Lions last week punching their tickets to the semis. Still awaiting the results. Across the grounds we have Brunswick Juventus and FV Emerging currently playing in their cup tie, with this the final of the ladder. I'm Adam Palombi, pleasure to be pitch side this evening, something a little bit unusual, or a first. So in the thick of the action, as the Spring Hills FC lineup looks a bit like this. Jenna Ibrahim is the goalkeeper. Isabel Politano is number 2. Number 27, Sasha Davskalovsky. Number 6, Kelly Hay Lamb. Number 30, Montana Matthews. Number 14, Shalisa Paz. Number 18, Alexandra Sinclair. She's the captain. That could be an early start, and perhaps there is. There's an opening goal for the Preston Lions just as we're reading out the team sheets. The away side from kickoff have crashed through the gate, and there was nothing in which Jenna Ibrahim could do about the finish. As Han Solo has promptly arrived to commentary side, maybe she might have a better interpretation of what we've just seen there.
Straight off the floodgates here, Adam. That was insane. I've never seen anything like it in a Nike Cup. That was the start that Preston needed, and gee, it's just insane. The magic of the Cup. You know that this Preston side, they just can go all the way, and they've got that belief, but oh dear, this Spring Hill side, they're a bit in trouble. If they can't respond from now, they've got to react.
Haven't even got through disclosing the lineups for this evening. To continue on from the home side lineup, it was Dana Stevens, the number 8, number 20s, Yukina Tamamura. Number 19, rounding that off, was Eri Yamashita. As for the Preston Lions this evening, in goal was Sasha Lepridis. Number 2 is Jade Fakias, as the goalkeeper having to play out of her defensive half. It was Fakias, just being pressed by Sinclair. As it still remains alive, we can see it in the thick of the action, considering we're right on the playing surface this evening, something a little bit unusual, as aforementioned. It was number 50, the captain for Preston was Georgia Henderson. Number 24 was Hayley Johnson. Number 17 was Ali Lamonte. Number 8 was Miri Nishimura. Number 25 was Jamila Rankin. Number 9, Molly May Ramsey. Number 6, Ellie Talevsky. Number 14, Maybe Tanaka. Number 55 was Dakota Thyssen.
What a lineup that is. It's the solid squad from both teams. Preston on the original formation that we see time and time again in the NPL season, and same as Spring Hill. So the chemistry, it's already down pat for these two teams. It's just a matter of who will make the least mistakes, who will come out second best. Preston Lions, the NPL team, where Spring Hills, he's currently on the top of the ladder for the VPL competition with still no losses in the season. So for them, they know they can compete up against clubs like Preston. They can just continue their form. But this is a test, the biggest test you'll ever see for Spring Hill side.
Ball's flung in, chance opening up for the Lions yet again. And for confirmation on the goal scorer, breaking the deadlock was Maybe Tanaka, who was decisive to finish through the bottom left corner.
So far, what a high intensity start here, Adam. It's going to be like this for the entire game. I just can't wait to see how this is going to unfold. Preston, they've eased themselves the nerves of getting that first goal in it. They've managed to get that one early, but Spring Hills, they've got an opportunity right here.
Was the clearance nearly clipped by Dana Stevens. So Lions with a deep throw in. Stevens gets in the way. Ventures towards the left wing. Will hold up in play for her. Ball just rolls out. Not for a goal kick, but a very deep throw. Much more previous than the latter. So now Spring Hills trying to earn possession back. They can find the space for the Lions. You can see Lamb just opting to take the throw in. It's going to be Matthews with another ball entering the playing field. Quite the highlight package that was posted throughout the weeks in build-up to tonight. On behalf of Football Victoria, you might have seen it upon their Instagram and Facebook pages. Both sets of managers certainly back themselves. Coming into this evening, the home side, very more so given that they are the last remaining side outside the NPL Victoria, still in the Nike Cup competition. And considering how they've played throughout the season, Han, they must be full of belief despite being a goal down so far.
You know, just coming from the top down, from their manager, Tom Markowski, down to their captain, Alexandra Sinclair, she knows she's got the belief. This is her 5th Nike FC Cup finals in her career, so she knows what the Nike Cup is all about, and it's in her blood. And to have her shine out light in these players here in the West, to given that the belief and strength also, it's going to be something, a momentous moment if she can be victorious after tonight's game. It's going to be one for the ages that we'll probably never seen it before. A community club in the West VPL to make it to the semi-finals. We know that Bundoora United already got there after beating. Who was it the other day? I can't remember now. It was a Keilor Park, I believe. That was a big game too, out in the West, and that was a game that we thought Keilor had the upper hand, but in this case, Bundoora did. So Spring Hills could potentially be there.
And the ball's been flung in, and an equaliser for the home side. You mentioned their belief. They've got abundance of it. And this cup tie, off to a flying start. Goals at both ends. And it's Kate Spiteri at the back post, whose header goes beyond the reach of Sasha Liparidis in goal. What a piece.
That is one piece of football that, again, from the magic of the cup, that ball made its way in the air for quite some time. And we thought, how's it going to land? In what formation? Who's going to be there in the back post? And it was just outstanding. The ball that carried its way in. And it's just the luck of this pitch now onto the home side. And it's game on, Adam. It's anyone's game right now, and it's exciting. It's high tempo, and the fans are absolutely loving the performance right now, what they see, and the showcase that we see here tonight.
Certainly sure. The viewers watching upon Facebook or YouTube at the moment, you would have heard the roar from the spirited home fans in attendance as the Lions somehow manufacture a corner. Just looking back to get some confirmation on the previous rounds of the Night Cup, it was Keilor Park Soccer Club in whom Bundoora United had defeated 2-1 at Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. As the cross goes towards the near post, it never actually beat the near post, then never came to life from that cross, so not the result that Lions were looking for. Finally controlled, and we've nearly been falconed. Ensuring of the clearance.
We need a cage right next to. I don't know if the people could probably see us perhaps, but we are in the action. It doesn't get any closer than this, Adam. I feel like I'm on the sidelines of like a hockey match or something, sitting right here by the sidelines. You feel the sense of the occasion right here, right by the players. I just hope that it doesn't go our way whatsoever, but it's making its way a lot in this left flank area. I feel like Spring Hills like to use Montana Matthews. She's number 30. She owns the left side of the field, so they utilize her a lot. Then the connection with Dana Stevens on the left side. So those two players, you have to keep an eye out, and Preston Lions have done their homework well to ensure those players don't get a clean collection.
There's one player in whom we hadn't highlighted in the Spring Hills FC lineup, and of course their esteemed number 9, that of Saki Nagai.
Saki Nagai, such a workhorse, Adam. She makes sure she gets herself in good positions.
And she's in position there. This game flipped on its head, and it could be Spiteri in for her second. And Spring Hills, who were a goal down after 90 seconds of football, have turned it right around. It's 2-1 to the home side.
That was superb. The set piece, it was a lot of jumpers behind the ball, and you saw a lot of Spring Hills players behind it too. It was just chaos inside the box, but it went the way of Spring Hills. They're up and about. They've got their confidence in them, and now where is the response from Preston Lions? They were dominating the first moments of the game, but now they've just got the back foot and the rug almost pulled underneath them.
Get some confirmation on the goal scorer. A lot of bodies in the box. Keeper taken out the equation. It was a great delivery, which called for that confusion from the Lions' defence.
You don't want that to happen in a Nike game, Adam. You cannot miss anything. Everything has to be well calculated, well timed, because if it is not, you will get punished. Spring Hills will go their way. They'll try at anything. They'll bang on the door. They can score from any avenue, and this is their home turf. They know it from the back of their heads. They know which pocket is good, and so far they know that this end of the pitch works well for them a lot, in particular away from, I feel like, the bench. That's where things could get heated up there on the other side of the pitch.
Touching on the away side's form heading into tonight's particular matchup. Look towards round 5, they had defeated the Bentley Greens at BT Connor Reserve back in April. The 5th round of the Nike Cup. Therefore, the reason as to why they're here this evening. Looking towards their NPL Victoria form, it's a little bit hit or miss at the moment. Their last result at Lakeside, not one going in their favour. It was 4-1 to South Melbourne. It was only on Saturday, so 3-day turnaround. Back out under the floodlights for some Tuesday night action. The week prior on a Friday night in a goal fest at BT Connor Reserve, it was 4-3 against the Burundara Kerry Eagles. And the week prior, a loss to Heidelberg at home. So their victory against the Burundara Kerry Eagles, they're only in their last 5 competitive matches as a club. Not seemed to be quite the start for them this evening. The home side, Han, seemed to have awoken, and from set pieces have found those options to prove dividends.
They somehow find a way to absorb the pressure. You know, we saw the first ever VPL game that was streamed here, you know, last round, and they were one goal down, but managed just to get away with it in the end. So for them, they just heads down, and they know how to get the job done. They know their role. Every single player, they play as a team. They don't play as individuals. They find different avenues, and they just work as a team back and forth of the pitch. So for them, it's just absorbing that pressure and maintaining that this is the game, that it's, you know, game on from the start to the finish. It's not end until the whistle blows.
Sinclair just crashing in. And you're well and truly involved with the brilliance of Alexandra Sinclair in terms of what she does on the court rather than what she does on the field, and insight as to what she can provide as a player both on the court and on the field.
She's just such a legend of the game. In any code, we know that herself and a lot of players do play, you know, on the off-season futsal. So, you know, you see Alex Sinclair always maintaining that skill level, even if it's not football, in other codes as well. But she's just such a legend of the game, and you know, such a crucial part in women's football for as long as I can remember. Yeah, she's just been part of it.
Oh, and Tanaka nipping at the heels. The Lions trying to keep Spring Hills honest in the defensive half. They're really made to keep possession. Stevens is going to settle for a throw on commentary side. Sinclair. Fine sliding challenge made by Henderson, captain against captain. It was Matthews to get us restarted by the throw.
So far, a very physical context between both of these teams. They bring that physicality to the game, but they're not really going in too hard, I would find. Just enough to bring that physical to the game, but not enough to kind of create that foul. So they don't want those fouls and a free kick given away to their opponent. So they're being very clean and tactical so far, but we'll see how that's going to result as the time folds on.
A few instances of that physicality nature on full display in that passage, which culminated with a Lions free kick. Nagai perhaps getting a bit overzealous and trying to keep possession in that confined space. There's a heavy touch. Allows for the ball to be in dispute in the engine room with Thavskalovsky getting stuck in. Rankin happy to rekindle possession. Talevsky patient, wants to venture towards Fakes. Tanaka onto the loose pass. She spreads wide. Lamonte trying to get round her marker. She's got a couple of Spring Hill shirts to deal with. On the home side with Stevens trying to exit their defensive half. 3 Lions shirts there to greet Stevens. As the initial evasion of that compact space was tidy. The pass following from Henderson, not so much, but the Lions back with possession via a free kick. It was a handball on Nagai.
Second guy wasn't under too much pressure there. It was just unfortunate that the ball kind of bounced awkwardly on her hand, and the referee was right in front of it to see it unfold. So another set piece here for the Lions.
Talevsky finds shape on the delivery towards the box. Header was earned, but not spent well.
Don't believe Preston was well set up there. They rushed it a little bit too much without getting set up. So they gave it away there, Preston Lions. So that's probably one thing they've just got to work on as the game unfolds.
Sinclair going over the top towards Stevens. Preston shirts in abundance, but Stevens is going to crash through them. Now Nagai. Trying to keep the play quick. Still in possession, draws the foul. And perhaps a fitting time to acknowledge the man in charge this evening. Sergio Tequirio is the official.
So far, a lot of work to be done here for the referee of this match. He's got the whistle down pat. He's just had to make sure this game is in order as fair as possible, because you've got both of the fans on either fence being very vocal here.
Nice build-up on both sides. As the short ball not exactly dealt with, it's going to be an own goal. Those tricky balls, a nightmare for defenders to deal with. And the Lions' nightmare has come to life. The cross was flung in by Yamashita. And you're taught from a youth level to put boot to ball when it's inside the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for the Lions, they've inadvertently put it inside their own net. And it's the home side, 2 to the good, 3-1 the score.
2 unanswered goals there coming from, Spring Hills. They know that they can really break down their weakness. They found the weakness of Preston, put it in those chaos areas, get a lot of jumpers behind the ball, and then before you know it, the luck will be on your side. So a lot of work to be done here for Preston to make sure that defense is solid and disciplined, because they can't allow more goals like that to occur. That is a nightmare here for the defense of Preston Lions.
Not a nightmare for those watching at home. 4 goals in such a short span of time. The magic of the cup. As you'd expect a response from the NPL Victoria Women's outlet of Preston. So the free kick will be awarded to Miri Nishimura, who Sinclair perhaps got in the way of. A little bit too rough for Sergio's liking.
This will probably slow down the play a little bit here, Adam, just to kind of have a little bit of breathing space for Preston to kind of recollect, reform it, and get perhaps a bit of coaching from their side as well.
As Lions, searching ball was not exactly the one intended. Second time of asking. It's a final result. Molly May Ramsey wasn't allowed any space by Stevens. Her throw cut off by Stevens yet again. who's had intent so far this evening. Dana, she's been rather explosive when in possession. As Ramsey, the flick on header, just not reaching a target, just before the outskirts of the box. And although Ibrahim has conceded, she hasn't exactly had a test yet either.
Not so far. Her defensive lineup has just been outstanding, ensuring that the ball's coming through from Preston Lions is not as easy come for. Preston likes to bring the ball wide as possible, then cut it back in. But the likes of Matthews, she's just been just so solid there, ensuring those cut-throughs are not going to happen. So Ibrahim ensuring that her players are in formation and being very vocal and ensuring that the players are there where they need to be.
Composed under the pressure ball. They were the Lions in the engine room where they look to venture. Ball moving wide, a bit too wide for Ramsey to latch onto. Pass going a freight from Thyssen. So it might be too soon to start talking about comebacks in women's football across the 2024 calendar year. But your mind must be cast back to the Boroondara and Heidelberg women's clash in the early stages of the NPL Victoria season, where the Burgers were down 4-1 at half-time. They turned it around to make it 4-all with their very own captain, Steph Galea, the difference maker, equalising in what was the 86th minute of play. So you can't exactly write off the Lions yet, given the start hasn't been very prosperous. Ball flung in, dealt with by the keeper this time of Lepridis. Perhaps a chink in the Knights' armour has been exploited. Spring Hill's acknowledging that each set piece they take, they've got the Lions, dare I say, backpedaling, tamed, concerned. What's the right word there, Harmer, looking for?
I would say all of the above, but yes, absolutely. I would be concerned too if you've conceded 2 back-to-back goals in a very similar fashion. But they got away with it on that occasion, made sure you saw a lot of white jumpers in that box, just bringing kind of more a barrier and a shield around the keeper, which we didn't see much. So more of that work to be done, and they're actually warming up to the game. They're learning from their mistakes here, Preston Lions. Now they're just going to find a way to get that ball more in an attacking opportunity up forward.
Tanaka gets the bounce. But Tamamura happy to clear towards the park side of the playing surface.
I think that's where the school is, Adam, I believe. Primary school, right behind there. I think this is like a sports stadium.
Chance opens up from distance, which for a split second had some decent shape on it, but it was a comfortable height for Jenna Ibrahim to claim. Of course, this Spring Hill Recreation Reserve, as Han mentioned, is involved with the Springside Primary School, which I'm sure you might just be seeing on your screen each time the away side venture towards their attacking half. As Stevens, Thyssen, Molly May Ramsey. Certainly a player you cannot just say her last name, it has to be the full Monty. Seems to roll off the tongue. To Levski. Lions trying to go inboard, and Sinclair earns it fairly, and Stevens is making a run, in which has been acknowledged. Dana Stevens takes a touch. Sting momentarily out the attack, but still remains with Spring Hill. Stevens steps inside. Shot dispatched. Hits the body, and finally the clearance made by the Lions. Tanaka underneath it. Nice intervention from Tamamura. Stevens. Overlapping runs acknowledged. Inboard ball. They're going to reach its target. The Lions have another set piece to deal with. That of a corner, which the home side have conjured up.
That was a terrific passage of play coming from Spring Hills. They just kept bouncing on the ball, and any loose player that was available to them, they had a lot of options. So this is kind of, I would say, the difference between these two teams right now is when Spring Hills got the ball, they provide options to each other. If they can't go for one player, they'll go for another. So they've been very vocal, and the overlapping run is brilliant there too.
Low delivery. To the edge of the box, the 1-2, the option. Low cross coming in. And Ramsey was unsure. Perhaps she might have heard the call from the Preties in goal. This was nearly another half chance carved out. There's defensive concern, which the Lions have showcased early on, hasn't exactly been rectified yet. But they're slowly starting to win the battles in the engine room. That's where Spring Hills have really been imperative this evening so far. The strength of their captain Sinclair, combated with the craftiness of their wider midfielders of Lamb and Davskalovsky. As that's a fine ball over the top. Keeper's called upon. Brave goalkeeping by Ibrahim was a fine idea. And that's a more promising sign from the Lions.
Absolutely. It was just in front of goal. It was just unfortunate that the connection wasn't there. The time ball wasn't intended for Preston there. On that occasion, the keeper was the main event, just saving that ball, putting her body on the line, and a very good use of the technique.
The guy coming deep. Sinclair showcases her experience. Moves it out wide. At the fullback, they venture into their attacking half. Sinclair wants it back, goes over the top. Idea was there, it was dealt with. As the play culminates, you can just see there's so much intent from the home side when they come forward. They want to make every attack count, it seems to be the case at the moment.
They're kind of focusing on more attacking. Obviously, you know, you rely so heavily on the defense. They know that they've got that down pat. It's a 4 lineup on the back line there, but it's just the attacking mentality that Spring Hills is bringing into the game, and it feels like it's worked them well in their favour.
Inboard pass, allowing Henderson to make some ventures forward. Tanaka, back heel on display, not from Tanaka, rather from Nishimura. Tanaka more advanced. Fakias. Touch will allow for Tamamura in the defensive half to call for someone short, that of Stevens. Back to Tamamura, and our camera nearly taken out. That's also going to be a talking point of tonight's game from a more journalistic standpoint. Perhaps sigh of relief from our producer in charge, as the throw is taken right beyond the camera. And it will be awarded to the home side.
Talking about that, Adam, I feel like I'm more of a sideline reporter sitting right here on the pitch than an actual commentator. But hey, we're doing both things. We're giving you all the action on the sidelines and feeling every single movement and touch that the players feel right now.
It's not every day you can say there's a boundary rider that's play-by-play calling, especially in footballs. A long-range effort was dispatched with shape from Nishimura. Had some velocity on it. This play comes right to commentary side, clearance towards the club rooms, courtesy of Fakias. Will be a throw.
Nishimura, she had the right idea before, just talking back at that goal or the potential opportunity at goal before. You have to test the keeper in any way possible. If you're within range of shooting, I would go for it. You got any opportunity to be in those prime, situations, go for it, because you never know exactly when Spring Hills had strike at goal. Why not go for it? This is the time to do it, time to react. If you don't have many opportunities in the final third, I would say similar to Nishimura, go for it, take your chances, because you never know, one could go your way.
Inboard pass controlled nicely by Tanaka. try playing that provocative pass and involuntarily a collision. Tamamira and Ibrahim. The spotlight on goalkeeping nature of Jenna so far in this contest. She's an admirer of using the full length of her box. As Tanaka back in possession for the Lions. Taking over and striking was Nishimura. Now her counterpart, number 8 of Stevens, to calm the tide down. Sinclair sends forward. And a guy with the afterburners on. Trying to get beyond her mark of Talevski. The Preet is called upon. She kicks long. Does well amidst the floodlights to earn the header. There, Henderson. As Ramsey, from fullback, wants to take the throw. Spring Hill's caught on it. Perhaps too much from that offensive half, and the idea was there with the overlapping run. Just the pass from Nishimura lacking that execution it required.
A lot of work to be done to get that ball off Spring Hills, but the execution towards the end wasn't there. You've got to make sure that if you've got that ball, you've got to find different avenues and then find opportunities and time the pass well, because if you're on the counter-attack, you've got to use those opportunities. If you give it away, you're not going to get those chances again. So Nishimura, 2 occasions where she's just given her the ball away. Just got to be a little bit more smarter when you've got possession.
Strong play from Fakirs to progress the ball forward for Preston. And slowly the Lions are gaining some momentum in terms of territory. Wonder if they can find a tangible result from it. Ramsey evades Stevens. Thyssen. Cross her back half. Talevski looking to work it towards the right side of play. She's back in possession. Molly May Ramsey down the line. That's acknowledged. The ball not going to get to where it was intended by Talevski. Henderson's taking control. Stevens confronts the captain. Thyssen wants to shift towards the left side. Nishimura. Molly May Ramsey gets the cross in, which was comfortable for Ibrahim to claim.
That's looking a lot better for Preston Lions. You can tell that they're just bringing up that possession play, draw in the defender, and then unlock when it's most required. So they're looking a lot better, well set up there in their forward half. They're just using the right flank well, and they're just utilising those players well.
Fine interplay from Nishimura and Henderson in the engine room. Foul was called, getting a bit impatient in her attacking half. Was the Lioness of Lamonte, who hasn't exactly ignited into the contest, but you feel like could be one of the weapons in whom the Lions will call upon in trying to draw themselves back on level terms. Although they've made quite the mountain for them, they aren't exactly written off yet. They're starting to gain momentum in terms of the possession, statistics and territory. Just going to make it tangible. As the header was earned by Lamonte. Tanaka combining with Nishimura. Fakirs. Henderson. Nishimura. Lamonte in a wide area. Ramsey an option. Laptop, please don't die on me. Not now. I don't like that. I was recording before just to sort of like show everyone what's going on in terms of how close we are. Because I felt like this is proper being in the thick of it. I wasn't trying to get you off your rhythm. I was just being a bit of a smart ass.
Just send it to me.
Yeah, done, of course. I mean, so many times can we say we've
So hold on.
play-by-play quarter.
Wait, where are we? There we are.
Should have got me eating the roll before. That would have been grouse. Oh, wait. And we're back underway for the second half of the Nike Cup quarterfinals. It's all to play for the Lions. They have to come out the second half the same way they did the first. Scoring in quick succession. And finding some goals unreplied to force a cup comeback of grand proportions. Adam Palombi and Han Tran, the commentary dream team, on full display here at Springside Recreation Reserve, as the home side already trying to cause some issues. Preston happy to force a clearance. The onus is firmly upon the Lions. It seemed that they've found territory and nullified the attacking threat of the home side throughout the first half rather, following what was a rather disastrous start for Preston. Although taking the lead early, set pieces seem to have had them in all sorts of trouble, much to the delight of Spring Hills Football Club. They were able to get themselves in front, as the intent already on display, an ominous perhaps warning sign fired towards Ibrahim, which went well and truly over her crossbar.
Adam, what an exciting game, and I feel Preston Lions got the quickest goal in Nike Cup history. 20 seconds, I feel. It was, how many seconds? It would have been under a minute that first goal was scored. You weren't even finished for the introduction and they opened the floodgates already. So I have a feeling they might try to replicate that again here in the second half. But if you move on to the other Nike Cup quarterfinal match happening right now, Brunswick Juve up against FE Emerging, and Brunswick just scored the equalizer, so it's 2-goal apiece there in the 80th minute. If you're also having that on another screen, I would too, because that game just got interesting, 2-2, where Brunswick just got back fighting to get that equalizer.
You wonder what Jamie Sultana and Caitlin Friend are currently thinking, watching what's unfolding across the state at the moment in the Night Cup. Those two sides of Bulleen and Bunter are firmly waiting for the winners of either FV Emerging or Brunswick Juventus, and the two potential contenders in whom are competing for that semi-final position, with the home side certainly creating a narrative in which could look as if they might fulfill, given they've made quite the start. They've been, despite not having much possession since boasting their 2-goal lead, they've certainly been smart with the time they've had on the ball. They've had chances with their captain Sinclair causing problems from her runs from midfield. And the guys open space up for her attacking options. And you have Kate Spiteri chasing a hat-trick. So they could be on the cusp. That's, of course, if they can hold the Lions at the current scoreline as Sinclair takes over, heavy touch. Goalkeeper had to rectify the issue. Leprides just stopping Sinclair in what would have been 4. And perhaps the game all wrapped up early in this second half.
It's not over yet here, Adam. You talk about comebacks before. Anything is possible. Plenty of game time here in the second half for that potential comeback that we could see from Preston Lions. But Spring Hills, it's going to be a tough battle. There's going to be a hard-fought one if they want to come back from this.
Lamonte does well. Pass, not the latter. Commentator's curse in full fruition as Stevens on the left steps inside. Sinclair, fine first-time pass. And the shot off the bar. And you feel that would have been curtains. Leprides well beaten. A fine effort with the post, keeping Preston in the game.
Gee, I think everyone was skipped a heartbeat there. So was people here on the sidelines. It was just one we thought was going to curl its way in, but luckily for Preston, it hit the post and out again. So the keeper was managed to get the response there, but you see that Spring Hills are creating a lot of those opportunities forward already here in the second half.
Fine read and scan from Nagai. The pass over the top from Lamb, just letting her team down. It's Henderson. Fine first time pass intended for the wide player. Out of Preston, they have resorted to the bench as the flag's going to go up to nullify the attacking chance had occurred. So we want to investigate the substitute that's occurred for the Lions. It's Checker of Emma Checker, number 15, in the fullback position, who's been introduced into this contest.
I would say that's intelligent play there coming from their manager, Foden, just reserving the players and making sure that they've got fresh energy here in the second half. And Emma Checker, she's such an experienced, talented player. It's going to be tough to beat her tonight in the back line. So Spring Hills know it. They know how solid she is and know that she plays a key role in the defensive structure of Preston Lions, and so far have done exactly that for her team. But to not have her in playing the entire game could be the tactic that Preston have got up their sleeves so far.
Another change for the Lions in the engine room. Ramsey Fongsong Cam, number 37. Also introduced upon the half-time break. Stalevski goes over the top. Johnson trying to latch onto it. And you can just see the home side not allowing any ventures to occur. Throw in taken towards the outskirts of the box. Chance will open up for the Lions. Courtesy of Tanaka, who's been their most viable attacking outlet in this contest so far. Tried to loop it over the keeper. And in doing so, looped it over the crossbar.
Right idea there, Adam. It was a very lucky bounce towards her, and she just kind of took that upon herself. Just kind of a bit too much mustard behind the ball, over-chipped it a little bit. But, gee, a lot of Spring Hills players just kind of let that bounce and unfold the way it did. They've just got to take action, attack.
Stevens acknowledges that her captain's in the box. Talevski not allowed wing that pass to get there. Fongsong Cam chasing. Possession now with the Lions. They venture over the top towards Johnson, who's going to try to keep that alive. And that's been much of the tail of the tape so far tonight, Han. It's more for the away side, but it can occur also for the residents in that when those passes are to be made over the top, they just seem to evade their intended targets.
Seems to be working, and we saw a lot of the ball up in the air in the first half, but it didn't really connect to anywhere. But I feel like they might utilize that just to get past certain players here in the contest. So why not use that avenue? But perhaps I would feel sometimes it could be overused sometimes, and then just it's a wasted ball.
As it lingers on the edge of the box, now Sinclair wants to put her head down and get to work. Not allowing for that to happen was Rankin. Tanaka, fine pass out wide. Checker. Her cross to the back post. It was a nice one with shape on it. Perhaps too much for Lamonte to have her jurisdiction upon the ball on. But the Lions, you feel like they're starting to build.
They're conjuring something. They're getting into formation. They're putting the chess pieces together. It's just a matter of who will be the one to be in that crucial moment and that crucial position where they need to be. Ali Lamont just got there in time, but the ball coming towards her was a bit kind of confusing. Was it she going to go from the back post, or was the strike going to be on target? So it's just sometimes the accuracy isn't there for certain plays.
Incisive pass to and transpire move. And the interplay was neat. Yet again, that final just provocative pass. The one that counts, you could argue, just where both sides seem to just have it lacking. Lamb, unfortunate. She started the move, just couldn't seem to get it further on towards the Stevens region. But it's back with the hosts. Yamashita worked it backwards. Tanaka got her chest in the way. Sinclair, she's all over the park. She's firmly getting involved, being pushed by a frustrated Preston Lioness of Emma Checker, who perhaps within her early presence wants to make sure that it's felt by the ever-imposing Sinclair. As there she was, getting stuck in. Checker's first time pass, Tanaka. Fongsam Cam rather. Tanaka in the box ahead of her. Low ball in. Chance now for Preston with Tanaka! And that is one way to say that we are still here to play. The Lions draw one back. It's maybe Tanaka at the double. And that has the contention for goal of the quarterfinals. A brilliant finish.
That was absolutely magnificent from Preston. You just see the touch there had to be good and the follow through. So it was one of the best assists we have seen so far in the Nike Cup. It was well timed, well executed. And Preston, they've got a heartbeat. Is it enough to get them that equalizer that they need? But they're building, as we keep saying it. It's just more, can the response come from Spring Heels? But Preston, they've still got the belief. And they've got any ounce of them to get them back into this game right now. And that was just one goal to get them back into that confidence that they needed.
Oh, and a turnover forced by Stevens. Flag's going to go up. Dana scores, but she looks towards the linesman with his flag up. And that's where the home side seem to come to life. It's when Preston strike first. They seem to strike harder. And nearly with a quick cancellation upon the Tanaka double, was Stevens was up with one of her own. It was composed. It was a fine finish. Just the flag and the run. Not what was required. The Lions ventured towards the box. Defensive header had to be made by Tamamura. Sinclair lofting to head away. Spiteri couldn't win it. Nishimura. Checker taken to the ground. They've played advantage, which was awarded by the man in charge, Sergio. Dana Stevens just been told to let it go.
It's heating up here, Adam. The temperature is rising. It's boiling. It's going to get to boiling point at one stage or another, but they've got themselves in another gear here, Preston Lions, and the momentum, it's building for both teams at the minute, but it's creating this kind of creative flair. They're setting themselves well here, Spring Hills and Preston, but either way, it's game on, and the excitement of the game is absolutely outstanding here.
There it is yet again, Hannah. I don't mean to emphasise on it, but both sides seem to unravel themselves, rather. When they're in possession, they make all this fantastic work go to waste by just losing their composure at the time they need it most. To Sinclair. Lofted towards Spiteri, acknowledging the threat. An offensive half for the Lions. And Sergio from downtown makes a call for offside. Inboards pass. That's better from the Lions. That is a thunderous collision right in front of the camera. You heard the thud all the way from watching at home. At full steam ahead charged Lamonte. And residing on the deck was Davskalovski. There was no watch or intent or regard, rather, for the opponent. The cup competition perhaps getting the better of Lamonte, who hadn't had eyes upon her opponent. And in doing so, gets in the way.
That was one collision that you never want to see in football, Adam. It's, body against body, and in the moment, you don't even have time to react. What do you do in that case? But, gee, hopefully Sasha will be okay, and the physio's just gone over to just ensure that she can get up on her feet, but that was just a very heavy and hard knock, and the whole of Springside is now very concerned for her in the minute. Just allow her a little bit of space, but I feel like Preston, are they just not thinking? They're overdoing it, and I would say just things like that is going to mentally and physically affect you in a game from both sides. I'm not just saying coming from just Spring Hills, but Preston, they've just got to find ways to be in the game, but not in that manner. And we know it hasn't been this game at all. And to see that unfold, it's not good. But if there's any way we can go to a break, like this will be now the time, but
we don't have that luxury, unfortunately.
No, we don't.
But the talking point that is developing is the official wants to have the game moving. And that's what Sinclair is spearheading the protest about. Our thoughts and highest regards currently with the downed Spring Hills Football Club custodian of
So heavy knock there coming for Sasha Daskalovska for Spring Hills. Again, we're just going to check her well-being, just ensure that she's okay to move, because for a player to winded and go down like that, Adam, first thing is just the well-being of the player first, and the game second. Even the crowd here watching on, just they saw it all unfold in front of them. Preston fans or Spring Hills fans are very concerned.
Can't say it was in malice from Lamonte, having had the best position of it. Her eyes were firmly on the ball and in the crossfires, unfortunately, for Sasha Davskalovski. She was, well, in the way, if you will, in which it's rather taken the mood and made it rather somber around the recreation centre, or reserve rather, where we hope that everything is to be okay with the Spring Hills player that's currently down. Stretcher will be called upon.
Let's recap again for those that missed the first half. We saw a goal from Preston less than a minute in. That set the game, that set the pace, that the momentum of the game. Then it was the 3 back-to-back goals from Spring Hills that responded to that, where they didn't allow Preston to score back. And you want to see the road that Spring Hills got here. You said in the first half, let's go back to it again. Round 3 of the Nike Cup, Spring Hills, they were up against Manningham. It was here at their home ground, 12-0 in that game. That was what set off this Nike Cup campaign for Spring Hills. And then they went up against Ashburton away, and that was 9-0. So that's 21 goals in 2 games for the Nike Cup. It was a tough one against Essendon Royals, their kryptonite, who knocked them out in the last season for the promotion to NPL. But then they got over their fears and defeated them 1-0 in round 5 of the Nike Cup, which got them here today against Preston. Preston only playing the 1 game, being an NPL team. They're only starting out in round 5 of the Nike Cup. BT Connor Reserve was their home advantage against Bentley Greens, as you mentioned, 2-1. So it's a very close encounter. I feel this game will be a very similar affair. Spring Hills, I feel like, got the probably upper advantage of getting those teams that were in the lower state league competition, where the fixture got Preston on straight to an NPL team, the Bentley Greens, which made it a little bit tougher to get to the quarterfinals. Now it's what remains in this game is a testament to can they come back from trailing by 2 goals in the first half. This will be the biggest fight that they will probably have to encounter against a VPL team. We saw Calder United getting defeated by Keilor Park. Will this be a very similar affair, Adam? That is a talking point, as now the game will resume here at Springside.
So just to reiterate, our thoughts and prayers with Dev Skolovsky, who's taken to the tunnel. We hope that her well-being is okay following that heavy Lamonte challenge. Football is back underway. Following that little delay we had there. The official in charge not acknowledging any, foul. More just an incidental incident that occurred. If that's the right terminology, Hunt. Accidental incident, rather, that occurred.
It's a contact sport at the end of the day. You're going to have bodies clashing and you know, there's going to be a player that may be a little bit bigger than yourself. I'm not a big player myself, so there's going to be players that you're going to go up against. It's, you know, a lot of more kilograms on top of you will have an impact to players that are not. So at the end of the day, it's a physical sport and collisions are bound to happen. It's just the nature of it, really.
An emphasis on how both sides respond. The mood's somewhat somber. Let's see if the football can reignite it. This Preston protests. That clearance coming off a black and pink shirt. Protests that won't go unnoticed. The Lions pushing up. Only 3 Lionesses in their respective defensive half. You feel like they're going to try push the envelope. It was a brilliant finish by Tanaka at the start of this second half, which got the Lions back within a goal. As Henderson trying a looping pass. Not exactly dealt with adequately by the home side until they concede the corner. So what can the Lions cook up? Nishimura with the corner. Ball's flung in with some purpose. Ibrahim does well to clear, as does Sinclair. Now Nagai wants to chase. Ball bouncing towards the centre of the box. It's cleared away momentarily. Sinclair acrobatic. Henderson getting stuck in. She holds Anna Stevens, who gives her a shrug. And Stevens searches for Spiteri. It's a fine ball, and Spiteri's going to get there. She confronts Talevski. Nagai queuing up in the centre. Fakir's rather confronting Spiteri, who evades two Lionesses. Keeps possession alive. Ball just bouncing off of Lamonte. Stopping the attack for the meantime, but it still remains with the home side. And you feel as if not already having reason to want to give it their all. They've got a certain element to prove a point against Preston, especially now as Nagai. Sinclair back to Nagai. Her pass to Stevens a bit shallow. She really has to make up for it with some physicality, which she does. Matthews, fine run, kept going. And cleaning up momentarily was Talevski. Bounced off a couple of shirts in the crossfires, so it will be a corner for, not a corner rather, it will be a goal kick, one of the two. So how would you describe what we're seeing so far, despite that, well, unsavoury incident that we had experienced? Don't want to touch on it too more beyond this point. But so far in terms of the football, how's that been treated? How have you been seeing that, huh?
See, Spring Hills are bringing themselves back in the game. They were a bit on the back foot when that goal was conceded. They got their heads down a little bit and was a little bit kind of struck by it, a bit confused of where they needed to be, but it looks like they've got their head back in the game here. And just ensuring to get those attacking players where they need to be. They were struggling a bit in the first moments of this half. Couldn't allow a lot of movement up forward, especially with the well-disciplined defence coming from Preston Lions, where they've just been so solid there. So they've able to just kind of get that movement up forward a little bit more solid. The use of Saki Nagai, she's utilising it well. Spiteri have done well on the flanks, and Alex Sinclair in the middle. So they've been working well, but there's times where the decision-making isn't just right, that hasn't been on point of how they want it to be. It's just because Preston Lions have just been on the toes of Dana Stevens. If they could shut her down and not allow her to get possession or clean possession of the ball, they've already done their job.
Fongsong Cam won the initial header. Pass went out wide to Spiteri. Lamonte flicking on. She wants to receive it once more. The clearance sent towards the club rooms. All for Rankin to throw down the line. Two balls now on the playing surface, which our official cleans up. Cleared back towards commentary side. As throw-in taken quickly. And Henderson making inroads, using her body to try carve out a chance. The home side's holding firm at the minute. Fakir's, look at the pace of Sinclair, applying pressure. The Paredes had to be cautious on the pass, and Stevens in possession. She gets round one. She can't open up the chance. The officials' whistle sounds. Stevens committing a foul, got a bit excited, given the chance. All carved out through the sheer presence and pressure applied by their esteemed captain of Alexandra Sinclair. What a player she is, Hunt.
Alex Sinclair, we keep saying high praises of her because she is the Nike FC Cup queen. I don't think anyone have won as many cup as her, and she is on her way to winning her 5th, but it's just, you got a lot of work to be done here. Plenty of time in this half, but you just saw her running from the halfway line, applying that forward pressure to allow that mistake to come in. That all was from the captain. Her presence, her aura is been shown throughout this game, and you just see it time and time again. So if she continues to apply that pressure, it's going to be game on, but she can't do it alone. Her teammates have to back her up when she makes those runs, move forward as a team, and then continue to put that pressure on the back line of Preston's defence.
Chance for the Lions. It's a fine pass out wide. And across the opportunity, forthcoming, swung towards the back post. No one there to greet it, aside from a Spring Hills shirt who clears. Nagai cleaning up and drawing a foul ever so intelligently. Ramsey, Fongsong Cam just conceding possession via the heavy touch, which called for Nagai to get back.
The only downside of being on this pitch that doesn't have a scoreboard is the players are really unsure of how long they've got left. I mean, it's still anyone's game. Preston, 2 goals to Spring Hills 3, but the game could turn around so quick. We saw that in the first half. It could turn around in a heartbeat. So it's just not knowing of how long left for the viewer, for not just the viewers, but for the fans here. Any moment, the game could turn around, and it's just not over yet. They're playing with all their heart out here, Adam, and it's end-to-end play, and the intensity have not stopped since the start of the first whistle in the first half.
And the Lions are sensing a goal that will get them on level terms. And there it is. From 3-1 down, they've drawn it back level. It's Ali Lamonte with a glancing header, nothing in which Jenna Ibrahim could do to prevent it from going into the left corner. And the cup comeback is well and truly alive. The Lions have turned it around.
How about that? They have gone up 5th gear here, Preston Lions. They were trailing by 2 goals coming into the second half, and they've brought this game alive. And you said in the first half, Lamont, she's there, she's got her presence, but it's a matter of when she will unlock and be known and bring out the performance that we see time and time again in every game. Gee, this game has just really opened up now.
Not dealt with entirely, and a chance, a snapshot, a goal. And you can hear the Preston away support getting behind their keeper of the Preties, who had to be tall and strong there. It would have been an instant reply, something in which we know the home side are capable of doing. The wind perhaps out of their sails at the moment, but Stevens, what can she culminate? She had a goal scored, the flag, the only reason as to why it hadn't stood. Just touching on the recent Preston equalizer. The build-up play from Tanaka in the engine room, which allowed for the outside run of the substitute in Checker to play it over the top. And Lamonte, we mentioned that she hasn't exactly come to life, but similar to those attacking outlets featured that are prominent in sides across the state, all they need is half a chance. And Lamonte, with her half chance, was deadly in front of goal. 6 goals scored across what's been an intriguing football match. And as it stands on, extra time could be what we're seeing in terms of being the difference.
Absolutely, and speaking of extra time, Brunswick UVA up against FE Emerging. They are currently on 14 minutes over on extra time. They're 2 goals apiece, so both games in the quarterfinals tonight on a Tuesday evening in Victoria are now on equal terms, so we still don't know the winner of the Brunswick and FV game, as I'm sure Bulleen Lions, who are now in the quarterfinals after defeating Ringwood, is watching closely to see who they will verse. I'm sure in this game right now, Mandurah United, there's actually a lot of players here in the stands right now watching on to see who they will compete against in the semi-finals. So it's still anyone's game. But Preston, they're banging on the door.
Tanaka sliding and keeping it alive. And drawing the foul. Intelligent play which is received by the away Preston support and which has become vocalised. So a crossing opportunity from the free kick. The Lions let out the cage. And you feel as if their momentum's leaning towards a goal that will put them in front. You can see Ibrahim organising her wall. Cross towards the central region of the box. No one on the outskirts of it except for Nagai, who sends forward, allowing for Spring Hills to get some shape further up the pitch. Nagai being told to get up and go. Perhaps feeling cramp or something, not allowing her to play at her full capacity. Seems to be shrugging that off for the meantime. We'll keep an eye on her. We know the importance she can have upon her Spring Hill side. As Preston cross. Hasn't been fully dealt with yet. Crossed back in. And the catching option, one viable for Ibrahim, who punts long. Henderson underneath it. Flick on towards Lamonte, who couldn't settle her feet. Fine defending. Nagai, technical. 2 line shirts yet to evade. Henderson wants the game to continue at the pace it has been the last couple of instances. She's sent forward, but not very handsomely from the captain. Ultimately gifted it back to the home side. So it's reignited, you could say. And we're certainly in for that cup fever.
It's one of the best cups we've seen in quite some time, where we see VPL teams still in the quarterfinals and now in the semi-finals. And it's the first one in quite some time where we could see a potential VPL team make it to the final and win.
Great pass from Lamonte, and there's a huge chance for the Lions. Tanaka's ball not diverted home by Johnson. The Lions playing at their optimal capacity of football. And they were agonisingly close to completing the improbable comeback turned possible. Nishimura, fine flick on. Lamonte couldn't earn it, sent out wide by Fongson Cam. Patient remained Rankin. Low cross, not going to reach anybody. But there hasn't exactly been a chance for the home side since the offside Dana Stevens goal. There was a save issued by Lapridis, but following that sole one she made in this half, there hasn't been much doing for the Lions keeper, who was kept busy and cautious in the first half. You feel as if the home side are looking for that stoppage time perhaps to get it to a shootout, because they seem to just be sending long forward and hoping for a mistake, in which could potentially occur for Kias. Henderson plucks it out the sky nicely. The idea was there from the captain, just not the execution she required to allow Johnson any space.
Got to give credit to the midfield of Preston Lions and also, you know, their captain of just ensuring that they've just not allowing Spring Hills to get it past their halfway line. It's proving very difficult right now. They're just unable to get their ball where they need to be here, Spring Hills, and Preston Lions feel like they've got the upper hand and just in their formation have just managed to stay composed and be behind the ball where they needed to be. So they've just got that upper hand of having players in the midfield and the back line in a very solid position.
Sakina Guy's night's going to be all wrapped up. She looked a little bit worse for wear at the culmination of an attacking scenario for Spring Hills a while back, so she's been drawn to the bench, as has the number 6 of Kelly He Lamb. On comes some fresh blood. The home side, who are in need of a spark. Long pass, searching for Stevens. She loves to compete, Dana. She's getting firmly involved and she rekindles possession. Now Sinclair. She goes down in the box. Perhaps right on the edge. It looked as if she was inside the area.
From where we were looking, but we're not on that side of the pitch there, Adam, so we could be very close, but from what the referee could see in his prime location was outside of the box. But this could be a contender here. Could be what Spring Hills needed in a game that in the second half just haven't unable to find ways to capitalise. Just that Preston have just been so good in the defence.
Sinclair towards the back posts. There's a glimmer of a chance. Spiteri might have arrived, as it's currently a balmy 4 degrees in Caroline Springs. Certainly wonder what that could have upon the occasion for the players. Cut off by Stevens. Sinclair and Spiteri ahead of her. Stevens with some physicality trying to hold off the challenge from Nishimura. That's the home side with a deep throw in. Intuitive cross manufactured, but dealt with by Preston. And Lamontes making up ground. Have to be cautious here, Spring Hills. They do very well, courtesy of Tamamura rather. But it's turned over. Fongson Cam. Johnson. Fongson Cam's cross. It was deceiving. Kenna. Oh, Ibrahim rather was, let's just say, kept alert. Because that cross turned somewhat shot was, had bamboozled everybody.
Well, even she thought she went down and it was a manner where it looked like it was going to make its way in, but she protected her near post very well. That's the first cardinal rule of goalkeeping, is to protect your near post. You don't want to allow any goals to come through in those particular positions. So she did well to ensure that that didn't go through. But gee, she's been working overtime in this second half. Where is her play? She's got to marshal her players and make sure that they press and not allow Preston to shoot in that fashion. So a lot of communication has to be done between the keeper and her defenders.
As that long ball's flung in and nipping at the heels, the back posts. Was Lamonte. She's really ignited in this second half. It was fine interplay between the two substitutes, Fongson Cam and Checkers, to open up that move. Checkers, long bomb forward, causing some headaches and perhaps miscommunications in the Spring Hills defensive half with Ibrahim and her defence. But the away side, much to the contrast of the first half, are on the front foot. Have the home side backpedaling as that Falcon is going to work out. Ball brought right to commentary side, and they want to move it quickly. Rankin with the throw. Bounces off the hand of Lamonte. With the free kick being awarded to the Lions. Fakirs moves it quickly. Fonks on Cam. She's also had some influence in tidying up the engine room. Back in possession, have received it from Nishimura. Lamonte. Cross towards Johnson, taking up a more central role in this second half, getting stuck between it. As Capel couldn't get the clearance she was after.
Now, is this where you see the endurance and the experience of NPL football come into play? Preston, they know the intensity. They play with this intensity week in, week out. You know, could it be it?
Chance, nearly converted, which would have been the hat-trick from Tanaka. You mentioned experience and skill and that professional class, if you will, of the NPL. They certainly hadn't started the contest as if they were fit for NPL competition, but they're showcasing as to why they are fourth on the ladder in that contest. Pressure makes diamonds. They've certainly been shining in this second half. As the ball's out of play for Stevens, who's noticing the tide's turned. Scores still remain level at CB Smith Reserve. The penalty clouds forecasted perhaps in Faulkner. Caroline Springs, we could be heading too much off the ladder with extra time. The Lions want to try to prevent that perhaps. They've been pushing for the envelope and finding that winning goal. Long bomb from Ibrahim. Spiteri and Stevens, attentive. Fakirs heads on. Now Stevens, over the top. The pass was manufactured in the engine room by Lamb, who thought as if she might have been taken off. But we are in stoppage time. Board hadn't gone up. Is there a chance for either side deep in the contest? Spiteri in possession, couldn't go around her marker. Sinclair fighting hard, the captain. She has possession. A goal from either side would surely win it now. Lamb runs it out of play. I feel like there will be a massive chunk of added time. Considering the Davskalovska, might have been saying Davskalovski, acknowledge that and just apologise. But our thoughts firmly with her. Throwing taken long. A long ball sent for Johnson, going to want to chase onto it. Ibrahim, composed, playing risky football. And Lamonte earns a turnover. There's a chance for the Lions. Edge of the box they remain. It's cleaned up, but it will be a corner. You can see the intent from Nishimura. She wants to take quickly. Henderson, Johnson, Lamonte, Checkers, and Rankin all in the box. They crowd the keeper.
Well, this could be the last roll of the dice here, Adam, for Preston Lions. But if they don't get it in...
Flung in, Headed away by Sinclair. It remains alive, but couldn't be turned in by Tanaka, much to the relief of the home supporters.
Gotta say, Spring Hill's going to be very quick now on the counter attack. They've got to react now. There is not much time left, and if that's the case, we're going to go to extra time, which is going to be 2 15.5s, and then a penalty shootout to close it off.
And look at Sinclair just charging, as was Spiteri. And the Lions, amidst the pressure, concede possession. Tuesday night Cup football with everything to play for. It's searched into the box. The keeper attentive, hasn't gone for it as of yet. She really made everyone wait in suspense. But the Pretties got there in the end for the Lions, and she released quickly. Lamonte. She earned the equalizer. She's the reason as to why we're in the current predicament we're in. As the ball was searched for Johnson, but that's going to be the 90, all wrapped up. What a contest we've witnessed so far. It's had elements of all feature throughout it. Comebacks, fine finishes, and two sides who are going to fight hammer and tong to progress into the semi-finals of the Nike Cup. 3 apiece with the added time, or extra time rather, to follow. And which way can this go?
It could go anyway. I was just seeing how this game unfolded. It could go any way at any moment, and credit to the Preston Lions. They got themselves back in the game. Their big moments are from Ali Lamont. She can step it up when she is required. You saw her in the first half, wasn't part of a lot of the plays, but she just came in, made herself known, and put herself in positions where Preston can be so lethal. If they have to connect with her in any way or form, they can do it with Lamont inside that box. So she kept Preston in the game, and Preston got that belief. It's just a matter of, can they continue their intensity in this extra time? We see it in the other game that's occurring right now. It's still happening. 2 goals. No one has scored in the extra time between Brunswick Juve and Effie Emerging. They could go to a penalty shootout. But the talking point mostly is from this. I said it before. It was more Preston. They've got the NPL experience. They've got the intensity. They can play to the highest level they can. It's more, can Spring Hills keep up with that intensity? So it's a little bit of a short stoppage time. We might just take a little quick break, and then we'll continue and resume play for the extra time that's going to progress here momentarily. Don't go anywhere.
Cody. So, 90 minutes couldn't separate these two sides. Extra time to be the ladder. We're back underway. Rather refreshed we are from commentary position. There's been so many talking points about the full 90 that unfolded. It's rather hard to pinpoint which way this could go. Preston have that momentum. The home side have the home support and the underdog belief, if you will, in which was in full display in the first half. In the second, perhaps it started to falter following the natural progression of the contest. There's Pulatano just coming across and clearing. Some Cam getting stuck in and bullied off the ball, which was sent long towards Spiteri. So although it's the early knockings of the first additional half of extra time, it's the Lions already who are showcasing that they want to come out and take the cup tie on. It might have ran out of real estate. Fonkson Cam. How good has she been for Preston upon her presence tonight?
The substitutes that's come on board in the second half have just made an impact in the game, bring the games to their terms and bring kind of their little specialty and their little touches that we see in kind of the normal fixture throughout the season. But she's just been such a phenomenal player. Goes in it really hard, all those contests.
Fonkson Cam. Well, it's not a goal, obviously, but we've seen a couple of those in the Nike Cup, believe it or not. There, Han. Cast our minds back to the FC Clifton Hill and Bundoora game in the round of 16, dare I say, round 4 perhaps, but it was where Fresneda had scored, and it was similar, where the ball had hit the back skirt of the net, which caused a bit of confusion, as it looked like it was a side-netting shot, but it actually had gone in, I think on that occasion, to make it 4 or 5-0. Similar was the Fonkson Cam effort there, which thankfully for the home side wasn't behind the line of Jenna Ibrahim.
It was like magic, and we couldn't figure it out on our own, but it was only those that were in front of sight could tell the tale of exactly what happened to that Camilla Fresneda goal in that Nike, I think it was round 5 fixture against FC Clifton Hill. But you just know that, you know, things like that happen in the nature of the cup and the magic of the cup. And luckily for them, it just kind of didn't matter. They were already up by a couple of goals by that point. But I just can't wait to see Camilla Fresneda battle it out against who will win in this game right now. Bundoora United are a force to be reckoned with.
As initially from the keeper of the previous, she played a pass with a bit too much mayo on it. Outside her defensive half, trying to really stem attack from defence, which Spring Hill nearly got in the way of, as did a smiling Tanaka. Just getting in the way of that Johnson pass, which was intended for more forwards. The play's vaulted back, and now it's Sinclair. Pressing forward for the home side. She crosses in, not dealt with entirely, until Henderson contributed, the captain, got of the way. Fonkson Cam hadn't drawn the foul. In fact, it's gone the other way. No, rather she has drawn the foul, and we'll get it moving quickly. Fonkson Cam cut off nicely. Stevens. Fonkson Cam couldn't challenge. Dana does well. Fine use of her physicality. Composure on display in midfield. It's moved out wide. Pulatano trying to thread it on for Spiteri. Stevens getting stuck in. Bypasses Henderson. Now Sinclair takes over. She ventures towards that left side of the box. It bobbles between herself and her counterpart defender, Johnson. Can't venture further forwards, and now it's the home side that looked as if they're going to have the momentum shift their way, but commentators' curse has come to full fruition there as they've conceded possession right as they attained it back.
That was good physicality coming from Dana Stevens and a couple of her teammates. They're bringing it into the game. So a few wording come from the coach, I would say, in between that talk at the full-time whistle. So they've brought it back to their terms. And, oh, gee, Dana Stevens are just crashing through. Now it's game on. And the one that's going to bring that physicality to the game is going to start with Dana Stevens. NRL player herself, she brings a lot of that physicality to the game, and you could see a lot of teammates kind of try to mirror that as well.
Boasts rather the powerful physicality, both quick and strong. Always a thorn rather in opposing sides. Such the difficult combination to contain. As Spiteri also been much off the ladder, right in front of her bench. Bullied off the ball, but it will remain with the home side. The hosts perhaps in need of a bright spark. Sinclair couldn't trap the ball to get away. As we keep a tentative eye on the Brunswick Juventus and FV emerging clash at CB Smith in Faulkner unfolding at the moment. The penalty shootout has begun. So
and still 2 goal apiece as we see feel like some substitution here for Preston Lions. But yeah, we're keeping a very close eye on that game. Has started half an hour before this game and it's still going on. And it's still game on. 2 goals apiece in a shootout against Brunswick Juve. And FV emerging in the other game. And this game still yet to be decided here in the extra time.
Johnson couldn't trap the pass from Talevski, but now's a chance for the Lions. A gleaming one at that. Confident goalkeeping from Ibrahim. The chance from Rankin was hit with more placement rather than power. It was rather routine for the keeper to claim as Henderson had it trapped and brought to ground level. Fonks on Cam, shifting gears. Has it stuck behind her. She keeps her run going. Nishimura acknowledges her wide runner. They remain patient now. Every Preston Lioness pushed up. Talevski, great searching ball, and Lamonte would have stolen the show, haven't she found the net? Where do you think the response could occur from for the home side, Hunt?
Just be quick down the line that we saw them go, and it's chaos play. It's organised chaos, and that seemed to work for them in the first half, and they're going to continue that. Get numbers behind the ball. Get a lot more jumpers in the contest.
Stevens with nearly a half chance. Politano with a toenail on it, gets it moving. Some Cam takes over, can't get round the strong defence on display from Kapil. Henderson goes over the top and wants the fresh legs to run onto it. Taking no chances was Tamamira with the presence of Rachel Gilles. Guyler's rather, perhaps. Throw taken. Second attempt for a crossing opportunity. It's a deep ball flung in. Ibrahim has had a fair amount of crosses and aerial balls she's had to control this evening. She's done well, the goalkeeper.
Going up against a top 4 NPL side, you've got to give credit to the amount of saves that she's done or put her physical presence on the line. She was in the first half ensuring the decision-making had to be on point. She came out of her line multiple times and put her body on the line too. And she's just, as growing in VPL, growing in the experience that she's going to have under her belt if eventually Spring Heels will, get themselves a promotion in NPL. It's going to be a keeper that we'll keep a close eye on, because look where she is now, keeping this Spring Hill side still in competition against Preston Lions in the quarterfinals of the Cup.
Fong Sun Cam has had some influence. Constantly in possession, acquiring that regista role at the minute. As the hosts just can't seem to string a pass together. Searching pass was the idea initially from Nishimura. Now a chance for the hosts to hold on to possession with Stevens, who's not intent to hold possession. She wants to move forward. She breaks through a tackle. Politano. Fakirs nods it on to Nishimura. As Fakirs gets it back. Uses the keeper. Preeties sends long and hand them up. A result at CB Smith.
Yes, just live results here. And Brunswick Juventus defeated the FV Emerging, came as winners 5-4 in the penalty shootout. So they're off to the semi-finals of the Nike Cup. FV Emerging will go up against Bulleen Lions. Oh, gee, that's going to be one final to look out for. And this one is still yet to find a winner in this game to go up against Bandura United. But FV, credit to them and their team, have made it all the way to the end of extra time and to the penalty shootout.
The Lions looking for something. Ball flung in and off the bar, and it's gone all the way in! From what appeared to be a cross, has turned to be what could be the decisive moment. Jamila Rankin has perhaps fulfilled a comeback in which had seemed all improbable. Intentional or not, she will not mind. It's put Preston, who were 3-1 down at one stage, in front. 4-3 the score in favour of the visitors. Now it's the hosts with the spotlight on them if they can turn it around.
What a turnaround of events, and Preston did not let their head down whatsoever in this game. They stuck to it. They stuck to their formation, and their game plan was not phased at all by being 2 goals down coming into the second half. They knew that it's not over yet, and they can get back in the game and just focus on little things and tweaking little things that worked well for them in the second half. They, in the defensive line, are well more structured and making their runs a little bit more timed and making less mistakes, and they've got them back in the game. And this is now where will Spring Heels get the response from? But gee, that goal, every goal in this game so far have been outstanding. Like, it hit the post so loud, and then it kind of bounced its way in slow motion. Incredible.
Time had almost stood still. I feel like both goalkeepers this evening haven't really had much influence in terms of what they could do to prevent the goals in which have transpired. The Preeties, of course, Had many bodies in the way upon the 2 set-piece goals she conceded, upon the own goal, which was diverted well and truly away from any reach she could potentially manufacture. As for Ibrahim, much of the same. That cross off the post and in. The Tanaka finish of the highest order. As the Lions, in extra time, have turned the tide and gone in front via Rankin, in whom we'll try to disclose afterwards to see if she meant that to be a cross or an attempt on goal. She won't mind, because her Preston side are on the cusp of fulfilling what has been an immaculate comeback. The emphasis now on the home side. They haven't tasted defeat since last year's grand final against the Royals, a match in which they were leading by 2-0 after half-time. Although knocking off the Royals in the Night Cup, they haven't yet tasted defeat as of 2024, but they are 15 minutes away if the results remain the same. So you feel hard that they're going to go for it as well and truly as they can.
Absolutely. Just saw the stats there on your screen. The reason why Preston are up, look how many shots on target they had, 16 compared to 8. 6, sorry, compared to 2, and then 18 shots toward it. So the second half just wasn't there for Spring Hills in their attacking mentality. We saw it a lot in the first, but in the second, Preston Lions just did not allow any easy movement in the final third for Spring Hills. So that's kind of been the crucial moment where you feel Preston have just been the better team in terms of defensively. They work hard to get those numbers back, and it's rewarded them in the end of getting that goal where it's just been almost near impossible for Spring Hills to be in prime location. So 15 minutes. Can Preston Lions hold their lead, or will some miracle or some magic happen here? It's the magic at the cup. We keep saying that. To be on the road. They just want it to be over. Blow the whistle already, ref. That's coming from the Preston camp, but it's still anyone's game.
Spring Hills have winning ingrained within their culture, and you'd fully expect that they're not going to die wondering. Still 50 minutes left of extra time. You look towards the likes of Stevens and Sinclair, in whom you feel are going to polarise their side into any form of potential comeback. They're chasing the game, and Sinclair was the option over the top from kickoff, attempting that quick start. The Lions will have possession with the goal kick.
Adam, I wonder what temperature the ground is right now. We could feel it. It's sub-zero, I'm sure. Come on. We're in Caroline Springs, in the western suburbs of Melbourne here, and it's just been so frosty. But because the game has just been so high intensity and entertaining, it's just been just at boiling point the entire game, and it's still going.
Sliding on the deck. They were Preston to keep the hosts at bay for the meantime. Touch on the flank. Ball to be flung in. Never had any shape on it, the cross. So the goalkeeper the Pretties to be back in possession. And we mentioned the temperature as much as the football has been rather the contest of a boiling pot, like Hahn mentions. Feels like we're nearly on the Arctic with how cold it's getting out in Caroline Springs. There's now the emphasis on the home side. They want to really try to force the envelope. They're going direct. Preston trying to shut up shop. Johnson. Battle won by the home side. Sinclair takes to the ground following that contest in the air. Johnson can't find a teammate. Ball just sent out wide.
What if the fake grass or the turf makes a difference? We saw it in other games where you're playing on real grass. It's a bit more dewy because it's real grass and moisture's there, but you don't really see that in this. So the conditions on the pitch is even completely different to what you could be used to playing as well with this fake grass. It just doesn't create that slippery ball movement. It's very clean, it's very precise, and it's kind of what you intend the ball to happen, but it's just probably a little bit too bouncy on some occasions.
Down line. Johnson applying some pressure. Tamamura forced to clear. As a substitution to occur. Looks as if Nishimura will be taken to the bench. And quite the reception for the Lioness that takes to the playing surface.
I think a lot of players have got some gloves on in the halftime break. I think your hand gets obviously a lot frosty, but a lot of players repping the similar Mary Fowler look of wearing gloves while playing football. Very frosty conditions, but it could play a factor in your keeping yourself warm.
Get some closure upon the change made. It's Chanel Nikolovsky. He's going to have a more defensive role. Wongson Cam deserves a goal, and she lines up. And a player in whom's turned the tide has surely punched the tickets to the semi-finals for the Lions. Razame Fongsong Cam with the finish. The goalkeeper runs the length of the pitch to celebrate. You feel as if that might be good night, Irene, for the esteemed home side.
What an outstanding solo effort. You just doesn't ask for anything better than that. Stay in front of goal and stay composed. And she just went at it alone. You know that was a big moment that could matter the most in the game, and just finished it off here for Preston Lions. And they are now moments closer to that semi-final ticket against Bandura United. That could be the curtains closed here at Springside, though. What a comeback we have seen, and one of the biggest comebacks we have seen in the Nike Cup.
Well, the Lions had come back and sort of 2-goal lead. But Spring Hills had installed one first. Now, given the topsy-turvy nature of this contest, you feel like if the hosts are to have half a chance, which they convert soon, still 10 odd minutes left of play. So some emphasis perhaps on this free kick. For the door to not be completely shut, you feel like they need something from here. Ball flung in. It's hit off the crossbar, and it's been bundled home at close range. They won't die wondering. They've pulled one back out of nowhere. This contest has had it all. Lead changes and goals aplenty. The hosts have 9 minutes to send it to penalties, as the Lions keeper, Leprides, remains
attended to by her lionesses. The effort had been touched onto the crossbar. And then to cap it off from practically in front of the 6-yard box was Tamamura. It was instinctive. Well, we mentioned that Irene might have said goodnight. Not just yet, perhaps, aren't.
Not sure who Irene is here, Adam, though somehow she's just appeared here in our stream. This is one of the most interesting games I have ever witnessed, ever, in the women's football game. You went from thinking or believing that Preston was going to have it in the bag to, within moments, Spring Hills went, it's not over yet. We're not done yet. This is still within our terms. The game is still yet to be played. And they just bring it out of the bag like that. It's insane. And it's just unfortunate now that the downfall of the keeper, we're just going to make sure that she's okay. She was a little bit outstretched in the last contest and had a really hard knock. So it's just a temporary timeout being called while we have a closer assessment on the keeper for Preston Lions. But Adam, wow. This is insane. I'm not even believing what I'm seeing in front of me. We went from the last game, FE and Brunswick Juve going to a penalty shootout. This game turned its head around when Preston scored 2 goals in extra time and Spring Hills with the response.
You have to sit back and admire this game. It's had its many moments. I don't think I've been involved on a more personal footnote in a contest within a short tenure of commentary as topsy-turvy, and to have as many goals as this one has had. 9 in total. And despite perhaps riding off, or seeing off rather, the Lions into the next round, it was before the free kick was taken. I had mentioned that with a opportunity from that free kick that recently occurred, if something tangible was to occur, which it has, perhaps it hasn't been wrapped up yet, and there's still an ample amount of time. Momentary respite for players to manage cramps and get some perhaps tactics and knowledge and insight provided to them by their respective managers. Unfortunately, on the more, tame part of the contest, we have seen injuries occur also. Daskalovska of Spring Hills was caught up with a stretcher. It's now going to be the Preston Lions goalkeeper of the Pretties. He's going to have to just be helped off. Perhaps the right ankle or right foot. What's occurred there is not on your screen, but we see that she is not putting any body weight upon her right foot. So now Preston will have to look to their backup goalkeeper. We want to ensure we get correct, so we're going to take a look to the team sheets for now. Lauren Ferrugia to be the replacement for the Pretties.
She's actually just finding her glove. She's, if you can see it on your screen now, in the fluorescent. Ferrugia's been in NPL goalkeeping for as long as probably Alexandra Sinclair. She was with, I believe, Bayside, she's just been in and out of NPL for quite some time. And it's good to see her back in the gloves. But she's got to step it up now. I don't think she was intending to have some game time this evening. Hence why she was running towards the change rooms to collect her gloves. So for a keeper to step in, could this be some form of change in terms of what Spring Hills can capitalise on? A keeper that hasn't had any game time the entire time to come on in the late dying moments of this contest. She looks to probably get her gloves up, but there might be a field player that's stepping up in the meantime.
Frugia in the, dare I say, home Preston goalkeeper jersey. Given it's still the green, much to the contrast of the purple, which was featured by Lapridis, who's gone out with injury. 4-5 the score. The door not exactly shut yet. The home side searching for what would be an equaliser of their own. The Lions have turned the tide. I've been delighted to some cup football of the highest order this evening. Sinclair had a chat to the man in charge just before play got back underway. And you'd assume she's inquiring about the amount of added time that could feature later in the contest. It remains alive by the skin of its teeth. No chances taken by Gilles. Sinclair couldn't find Lamb. Should try again. Punts it towards the box. They collide, but perhaps get in front of the official. Politano's pass not going anywhere. And that's your first involvement for the Preston backup keeper of Frugia, who punts long. Sinclair keeps it alive. And Politano, the heavy touch, goes forward. And the goalkeeper just ensuring the ball was out of line. Well, she came a fair way from her box to get a hold of the ball.
If you had any nails left here, Adam, you've bitten them all off. This is just such a close game. It's just high intensity from the get-go, and they're playing extra time, which is very, it's very rare. You don't rarely play after 90 minutes, only when it's a cup tie like this. So for these players, they've just got reserved energy, and they're just bringing it out to, it's to what it matters most, is being in that semi-final match. And Bandura, the players, some of them here that are watching on, are waiting so patiently to see who they will come up against. Adam, it's still anyone's game, but the clock is still ticking down slowly, and the more it turns and the more Spring Heels does not score a goal, the more Preston will celebrate inside their heads, but it's still anyone's game here.
Yamashita has the skins on. Can tell the cold is starting to perhaps get to someone in whom you'd hope the home side can ignite late in this contest. Is Sinclair. The captain kept going. Punted away. As Nikolovsky uses her body, but it's going to be a Spring Hills throw. Capel took quickly. Searching pass. Lamb the target. Now Stevens. So much emphasis on the official for added time, as that pass is not going to reach the captain. Although we're nearly at the 120. There's going to be a truckload of added time, and you wonder if Frugia is going to be tested, Han. She might prove match winner.
Don't know about that so far, Adam, but this is where Preston just need to ensure that there's no clean possession coming from any of the attacking players from Spring Hills. They've got to shut it down, which they've just done so well in the second half and throughout the extra time too. So credit to them. They've just been more the upper hand. They've done their role well, and they've just been able to shut down Spring Hills and their attacking mentality, which you see them in VPL. They haven't lost a game, so for them to be almost a loss away and in the biggest game in this season so far for them, it's going to be one that will be hard to swallow for Spring Hills.
Stevens, Bullies Fungsun came off the ball, which was lofted in, and it's going to go out for a corner. There's a genuine chance. The hosts recognise that. They've sent all they can into the box. It's only Kapil. Who remains just over the halfway line. Yamashita's cross to be flying in. High cross. Hits the roof of the net. Won't be their last chance, but certainly was one of them. You felt like Yamashita needed to have a delivery that was going to test the keeper.
Absolutely. Just overcurled that one and probably should have had a bit more time to focus on where they needed that ball to end up. A lot of jumpers inside that. But since that last similar corner kick from that goal that resulted in a goal, we haven't seen much of Spring Hills creating those opportunities at all here in the second half of this game.
Nikolovsky, the last attacking outlet for the Lions. She's going to press with her fresh legs. Haven't seen much from Ibrahim recently. Hong Sung Kam, you'd feel, is a definite candidate for player of the match, given her inspired performance, which has really turned the tide for the Lions, and whom have really been made to earn what could be progression in the Nike Cup. Stevens into play with Lamb. Yakashita chasing. The Lions trying to find the corner. They're going to find Ibrahim. Wants to move it quickly. Capel composed. Sinclair goes down the line. It skids out of play. The official looks towards his watch. Sinclair backtracking. Lions happy to just keep it the status quo. Throw-ins taken. Yamashita moves it out wide. Is there time for Spring Hill to find what would be the most bizarre ending to a Night Cup tie perhaps in history? They venture forward. There's a chance which might open up. Nikolovsky, the only isolated option for the Lions. And for a second, you felt as if the official was going to blow for full time.
Oh, we are just waiting on here right now, Adam. It could happen any moment, and you will just sense the celebration of Preston, who have just played an outstanding second half performance from the side, being 2 goals down to 2 goals up, and now 1 goal up and a few moments away to being in the semi-finals of the Nike Cup. And they're digging as much time as possible. They're keeping this game in play for as long as they can.
It's not over exactly yet. Sinclair slides to try and keep it in. It's not going to be a corner, much to the protests. As you continue to look towards Sergio Tequerio's whistle, perhaps. It's moments away from sounding. The Lions send long. Kapil wants to find Sinclair. It's going to be a throw-in. The home side, you feel like, have to find something now. Clearance wasn't adequate. Kapil. Politano moves it on. The opportunity to shoot is there. It remains alive. And that might have been the chance, Han. Ferrugia wasn't exactly tested. But gee, it fell for Spring Hills. Something which they couldn't take. Ferrugia sent long. They might get another one if they're lucky. Matthews. Yamashita. Rankin backtracking and trying to earn possession. Politano. Kapil out wide. Sends it inboard. Stevens. Can she turn? They haven't cleared yet. Talevsky forces it. Another look on the watch from the man in charge. 1 minute he indicates left. Spiteri trying to earn a corner. It's going to be a goal kick. Frugi is going to take all the time she can. How much of the minute will the official deem in play? Is there one last roll of the dice, Han?
How many sides does the dice have? I feel like Spring Hills have already rolled all of their chances. I don't think there is any chances left for Spring Hills left in the game. That was their prime moment right there in front of goal. I feel like that was all they had left. And if they didn't take their chances then, that was it.
Another glance at the watch. This would have to be their final chance. It's do or die now. Proper schoolyard soccer on display. Stevens. Try finding Sinclair. It's hacked away. The whistle sounds on what has been arguably the greatest White Cup finals clash we have seen in recent memory. It's the Preston Lions who punch their tickets to the semi-finals. After the 120 minutes was played, the valiance on full display from the hosts, in whom were leading at some stage throughout the 90. The Lions drew it back level, took the lead in extra time, and they had to withstand the late comeback from the hosts, who never relented. What a contest.
What an emotional roller coaster. It's just been such an up and down game. It's been twists and turns, through tunnels, through anything that could throw at you. They have played their absolute best, these two teams. Spring Hills from end to end play contested until the final moments of the game. So credit to them, play with all their heart and their resilience as a team. A lot of work to be done, but you could see that they're just building, and this will just be a big test to them going up against MPL teams. But Preston Lions, gee, what a performance in the second half. They are second half game winners, and they relied so heavily on those big moments like Lamont. Gee, that goal, you could watch that a time again. It was outstanding. So I feel like, created more opportunities in the second half, kept themselves in the game, and focused heavily on where it mattered most and where those particular plays mattered the most.
Fungerson Cam for the Lions had entered the field with her side losing by 2 goals, 3-1 the score. She scored the decisive goal to make it 5-3. Her performance will have to go down as one of the greatest witnessed, dare I argue, in Night Cup history. She changed the game perhaps single-handedly in the engine room for the Lions. Capped off with a goal, of course, but it was her ball winning, so ball movement, her technicality, which all polarised the Lions in finding what was necessary to come back against a side that aren't immune to losses, a side that haven't lost since 2023.
Well, Cam just ignited the spark that Preston Lions required in the second half. But what a night it's been. And Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been so fun to be alongside you here on the side of the pitch, here at Spring side on the western suburbs of Melbourne. It's the Nike FC Cup quarterfinals, and Preston Lions into the semi-finals against Bandura United. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's a very good night to you all. And until next time, it's Adam Palombi and Han Tran /Solo ending the night here at Springside. Have a lovely evening and see you next time.